We're back with another video of the 944. A lot of work has happened since we were last working on it. We have put the two seats back into the interior. Not exactly screwed down, bolted down all the way, but hey, they're in there. We got that done. Coming around to the front. We have done most of the work on the engine. So we've removed the airbox, the whole airbox assembly that was here. You can see it would normally go in there. We have removed the radiator from in front of, removed the fan from in front of the radiator. Fan is here. We have removed the timing belt cover, which is here, and completely taken apart the whole front of the engine. We have got the water pump here replaced. The old water pump is, I probably threw it away already. It was no good. All clogged up with coolant. This is a brand new water pump, this whole assembly right here. And so this will run coolant around throughout the engine. We've replaced all of the pulleys and things in here. Clean this up, all new bolts, all new nuts, and basically rebuilt the front of the engine. So the only thing we've got left to do today is to take off this balance shaft assembly down here, rebuild this, put this all back together, put the timing belt cover back on, put on the timing belt, put on a balance shaft belt, and hopefully completely rebuild the engine and see if we can get this thing started. So let's go for it. Let's start taking this apart so we can rebuild it. First we take off the balance shaft pulley. Pin wrench on here. Oh boy. Voila. Balance shaft pulley. And the next thing we want to do is to get the woodruff key out. I use a hammer and a quarter. And we pop the quarter onto the end of the woodruff key. Drop the quarter. Normally I can get it pretty well with the quarter method, but it wasn't moving, so this time I actually had to pull out a stubby little screwdriver and use that. And here is the woodruff key. That's what we were trying to get out. All right. Now it's time to get the balance shaft assembly off of the engine. Just 3 bolts. 1. Two. 3 bolts. Then the assembly should pop right off the balance shaft. Oh, come off. Why is that not coming off? Ah, gotcha. Here is our balance shaft assembly. So different pulleys will go onto all of these different locations. We'll worry about that later. But the reason we had to take this off is because I need an O-ring to go around here, and I did not have one, so I had to order one. So there we go. We got our balance shaft assembly off, and now we will rebuild it. And here is our balance shaft. This moves in and out, balances the engine, takes the vibration out. And if this is too far forward, it will grind against the inside front of the engine block, and it won't turn, which is an issue I had. And to fix that, you can see that there is a bearing inside here. And this bearing, somebody online suggested when I posted the problem I had that I couldn't, when I torqued everything down on the balance shaft, I couldn't turn the balance shaft. It was butted up against the front of the engine block, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't turn. And somebody suggested this bearing in here might be sticking up out of the sleeve by 1 millimeter, and it was. So if you see the bearing here, I could feel it with my finger. It was sticking up too far. I don't know why, but I hammered it back down and I put everything back together, and then the balance shaft worked perfectly. So if your balance shaft doesn't spin when it's torqued, that's probably your reason why. Okay, on to the next one. Here we go, balance shaft assembly rebuild. Here is the assembly. I just want to get most of the dirt and debris and anything out that's in there. Oil is supposed to be circulated through these holes in here, so I don't want any debris getting in there, shavings or dirt from the garage or whatever it might be. So we'll clean those off. Also clean off like where it's supposed to meet the housing here on the outside and where the O-ring is supposed to sit. Just kind of get all that gunk out of there. See if we can clean out where the bearing is as well. And then on the other side. So we actually have to get, I want to get this race and seal out as well, the seal, and this is a race right here. Okay, so let's take a look at, let's get these out first. I need okay, rubber mallet, and this guy, probably not a good idea to use metal, but I'm just going to tap it lightly. Catch it with my finger, I don't want it hitting the ground. Tap the other side. It's just about out. There we go, it's out. So Here's what it looks like. This pops out. I'm going to clean that out. And also we got our seal and our race. This is the old race. You can see there's a bit of a groove on it. So we're going to replace this with a new one as well. Okay. We'll reuse this seal because this one is new, even though I've had it in and out a few times. Alright, so we got our little rag here and we clean up the inside. Make sure the oil can circulate properly. Should be good. Okay, looks good. So these are the parts I was waiting on. This is what I had to order from Porsche. New woodruff keys. You can see where we got those from. New balance shaft bolts, because why not? They were $5. A new crankshaft bolt, because I ruined my existing crankshaft bolt. And what was stopping the entire rebuild was I was waiting on these O-rings. So let's put on the O-ring. So this is a $2 part that was stopping the whole build from happening. Of course, Porsche charged me $10 for them because Porsche tax. But here it is, brand new O-ring. Okay, clean off the old hands on the pants. We should grease this up with some oil. We should oil it up with some oil. And we got our trusty oil cap here. So, let's put that there. Just gonna get some oil here, and I do have bearing grease, so I should probably use that, but whatever, I use the oil. Okay, it's nice and lubricated. We'll get some of this oil on the actual ring itself as well. Okay, that's oiled. And now we apply it. And there we go. Okay, that's ready to go into the car. Okay, I think we're good. Let's try putting this back in and then reassemble it once it's on the car itself. Okay, I'm just going to apply a bit of oil into the inside here, hopefully, so it slides in a little easier. I can't get it on the top. That's all right. Okay. Oil down. I'm also going to take off this thin mylar gasket that's on here. I have a new one. So I'll put the new one on. There we go. This gasket. Oh, crap. How did I drop that right on my keyboard? It's like a millimeter, less than a millimeter thin, but it's required. I have a new one. Okay, put that there for now. Okay. Put that over there. That's good. All right. First thing to go on, balance shaft assembly. Okay, and this goes this way. So we're just going to slide it on here. Over the balance shaft. Come to the O-ring. Push the O-ring in. Hopefully not squeeze it and ruin it. Okay, well, I can't push it on. So we'll just have to trust that it's lubricated enough and put the bolts back in and let the bolts squeeze it in. Okay, and tighten them down. Okay. All right. Those are tightened down. Balance shaft assembly is on tightly. Now we need to put everything on the balance shaft. New Mylar gasket. Get this out and get it on. Crazy thin. We're going to get some oil on here. Dip it in there, oil it up. Oiled up. And then put this gasket onto the balance shaft. There we go. Slide it on. Make sure it's on all the way. All right. Okay. And next thing is the race. The top hat. So make sure this is oiled up. Get some oil on there. Nice and oily. Okay, and squeeze this one on. This one doesn't, it's new, so it doesn't like to go on easily. I'm not sure if maybe it's out of shape or something, but I did have a bit of trouble getting this one on previously. We'll see how it goes. Why is that so, ow, difficult to get on there? I'll try tapping it. There we go. I don't know why that was binding. All right. Slides nice and easily there now. Race is on. Okay. Okay, all right. Now the seal. So we want this guy. Still oiled up nicely from last time it was in there. Maybe just put a bit more on there. Okay, nice and oiled. And then we place this onto the balance shaft. Actually, it goes under the race. And it's so tight, it doesn't like to go in. But, ow, we are persuasive. Oh, okay. And almost. I wonder if this would be okay. Probably don't want to do that. Ow. That seal is not quite all the way in. So we're going to use the old seal and make it go all the way in. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, still not quite. That's just about there. Okay. Oh, now it's all the way in. There we go. It just went in. All right. Perfect. Now, next thing to go on is the woodruff key. Actually, first thing I want to do is just make sure this balance shaft still turns. It does. Okay. To get the woodruff key on, this is the old balance shaft bolt. I'm just going to put this on the end of the balance shaft, only so I can pull it all the way out, push the race all the way in, and then, there we go, and then I can get the woodruff key into the top. So let's do that. Okay, here is what we're doing. So, how do I zoom in here? Oh, there we go. You can see right there on the balance shaft, there is a slot. And you see, I don't have a good, I got the tripod on the, oh, you can see it there now. There you go. So you see the slot in there, and that is where our woodruff key is going to go. Ta-da! So this woodruff key is going to go into that slot, flat side up, and then when it's in the slot, it's going to prevent the whole balance shaft assembly from sliding off the balance shaft. And this is just what locks everything in there. So I'm just going to actually just clean that slot out a little bit. Just get some tissue here, and I don't know how effective this is going to be, but maybe not at all effective. Let's see here. Yeah, probably not going to be able to. Okay, we're not going to clean it out. But let's put this in there. So we lay it in on the top. I kind of need 2 fingers to get at this. Okay. Nope. Okay. Okay, so now it's laid on there. So I need something to tap it down in to lock it in there. So let's use our snow brush. And we place that down on top of that. Let's use the other end. Place that down on top of that key. Tap, 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 tap. Then you can feel it. No, it's not quite all the way in there. It needs a little more persuasion. A little bit more. I don't know why it's taken. Maybe it's because it's a new key. Okay, I think that might be good. All right, so I believe that is the lower balance shaft assembly. Okay, so now we're actually going to put the pulley on there, so let's go back down below. So we're back under the car. Here is our balance shaft assembly. Here is our balance shaft pulley. Oh, some hair on it. Balance shaft pulley. And you can see there's an O right there. That goes on the bottom. And that slot goes on the bottom. And this slot on the top is where the woodruff key slots in. So this goes on the balance shaft, grabs that woodruff key, and stays in place. So let's put this on with the O on the bottom. There we go. And there's the pulley going back and forth. Now we take off our balance shaft bolt. Here's the old bolt. We're going to throw that one away. We've got our handy dandy new bolt we just bought for $5, I think this was, Porsche tax. And we put on our thrust flange, thrust something, and our new washer. This stick piece goes in where the O is on the bottom of the pulley. Keeps it in place. And then we put in our new bolt. This will get torqued, but for now I just want to tighten it a little bit just to make sure it still turns. And there we go. It's just a little bit tight and still turns the pulley. Perfect. Okay, now a few more things need to go on here. So now we have some other pulleys that need to go on here. These go on to the balance shaft assembly. So this one will go on to the leftmost side. And this one will go on to, this one has the flange at the, what is this, the front? Yeah, right at the front. And goes right up. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I do first. Get this off of here. Okay, back up top. Next thing to go on is the timing belt cover. You can see that somebody previously worked on this engine and didn't want to remove all the necessary parts, so instead they just cut the cover to be able to remove it while the parts are still in the car. And I'm not sure, yeah, look, all these pieces are missing. So they actually cut this so they could pull it out without taking the pulleys off, which I did take the pulleys off, but I don't want to know how much this piece costs, so I'm just going to put it back on. Back in the car. Oh, this has to go on before the balance shaft assembly goes on. Crap. Okay, well, trying to put this back on, I realized that this is actually supposed to go on before any of the balance shaft assembly, so I'm a dummy and I had to take all that stuff back off again. So I'll put this on, and then I'll put the whole balance shaft assembly back on. Timing belt cover fitted. $10mm, putting the timing belt cover back on. So there were the 2 long bolts that go lower down, and then the 2 stubby short bolts that go up by the cam gear. And timing belt cover on. Back underneath the car, the balance shaft gear is going on. Oh, at the bottom. Now the next thing is to put on these other pulleys. This one has the flange at the front, and it goes on to here. No, that's not right. Sorry. Well, this one goes on there. This is an idler. This is where the other one goes. Onto here. Tensioner. And down. I made a mistake there. This one is actually the one that goes higher on the balance shaft assembly. And then this guy, with the flange at the back goes in the middle there to tension the timing belt. And then this idler roller goes at the top. So when you're done, it should look like this. We've got the balance belt tensioner, and then this pulley, and then the timing belt tensioner, and then this idler. That's the crankshaft pulley, upper balance shaft pulley, and then your cam gear. So there you go. Now we're going to put timing belt on. On goes the timing belt. So once you get the timing belt on, I mean, it's not all the way on yet. I still need to tension it, so I don't want to put it on too tightly yet. But once you get it on the cam gear, and then it goes down around this side of the water pump, this side of the guard, goes down around this tensioner, down around the crankshaft gear, back up here, and then back around the cam gear. But once you do that, you want to tension this a certain amount, and you do that by turning this pulley, and this pulley will push out to the left and push against the timing belt and put more tension on it. Right now there's so little tension I can actually turn the water pump by hand. But what you want to do is you want to turn this enough so that it puts enough tension on. The more tension you put on it, you will not be able to turn this by hand because there will be too much friction. So you want to back it off a little bit so that there is friction on here and it's tough to turn, but you can still turn it by hand. So I'm going to need two hands to do that, so I'm going to do that now. Once this is tensioned accordingly, probably around here somewhere, I'll just put the wrench on it, tighten it up, and then I'll have my tension set on the timing belt. And once you have the tension set, you'll be able to turn this about 90 degrees, and then you'll know that it's about the right tension. After fitting the timing belt, you're going to want to get a tensioner and test the tension exactly so that it meets the specifications. You can try the twist method to twist the belt 90 degrees, but this can be wildly inaccurate. You're going to want to get a tensioner to get it exact. After I fitted the timing belt and got the tension down correctly, I got out some pliers and replaced a C-clamp in the thermostat to hold the new thermostat into the new water pump housing. And then after that, I pulled out the oil filter and then drained the oil. Last one to go on is the crankshaft pulley. And then we have the washer and our new crankshaft bolt. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed another video. Be sure to check back for the next one where I deal with this mess. Thanks.